The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Here's Dickie.
Hi, Big Dick here.
NBC presents Rowan and Martin's one-man show.
Rowan and Martin's LaughIn aired on NBC from 1968 to 1973, becoming one of the most watched shows of its era. At its peak, it regularly ranked number 1 or number 2 in the Nielsen ratings. Its fast-cut comedy and counterculture satire helped redefine television humor in the late 1960s. Here are 10 weird facts you may not know. Oh, and did you know that a US president helped tame LaughIn's notorious edge? Yep, stay for the bonus to find out who.
Tonight's program is brought to you by these really groovy people.
Number 1. The show was created as a replacement experiment. NBC initially saw LaughIn as a temporary summer show in 1967. It was meant to fill scheduling gaps rather than become a flagship hit. Network executives were unsure whether its rapid-fire editing would confuse audiences. Instead, it exploded into one of television's biggest cultural sensations.
Goldie, what? Now that I have your attention.
Spasm.
Was that what do you think? What do you think of the population explosion?
Well, you know what? Doesn't bother me a bit because I wear earplugs.
Number 2. Dan Rowan and Dick Martin fronted the show, but LaughIn's real engine was its overworked writing team, churning out hundreds of jokes per episode. Scripts were often rewritten minutes before filming, with sketches timed down to the second. Crew members compared production to a military drill fueled by punchlines. The breakneck pace created comedic magic, but left many writers battling ulcers, exhaustion, and near constant burnout.
Oh, God, I can't think of his name right now. One of the writers, they would write on the walls sometimes because they were holed up in this motel.
Yeah.
And he said, now do not write on the walls. So, of course, they wrote on the ceiling.
Number 3. In the late 1960s, LaughIn became a cultural battleground, skewering politicians while tackling racism, Vietnam, and sexual taboos. NBC censors demanded weekly cuts, often removing entire sketches before broadcast. Rowan and Martin pushed to keep the sharpest political jokes, with mixed success. In one notorious case, the word breast was cut from a medical sketch despite appearing on an educational program the same night, enraging the writers.
I have nothing against minorities, but what happens when there's more of them than there is of us?
Number 4. LaughIn launched stars like Goldie Hawn, Lily Tomlin, Arte Johnson, and Ruth Buzzi, but the fame came at a steep cost. Hawn later recalled crying between takes, overwhelmed by the pressure to memorize hundreds of jokes each week. Tomlin clashed with producers over creative control and left after a few seasons, exhausted by the show's relentless pace. Johnson also quit, saying he was mentally fried. And by 1972, most of the original cast had departed, worn down by the success they helped build.
I remember when I was on LaughIn, and I was playing the ditzy blonde, you know. And it was a job, actually, because I had to do it on cue and so forth. Stupid and airheaded and bubbly and all that. When in fact, you know, I wasn't.
Number 5. Dan Rowan and Dick Martin were reluctant hosts at first. The duo had built their reputation in nightclub comedy. Television felt like a risky shift for their established act. They worried the frantic format might overshadow their chemistry. Ultimately, their straight man dynamic grounded the show's surreal humor.
Announced today that they will do a remake of Adam and Eve story starring Raquel Welch. The movie will be called How Do You Like Them Apples?
Number 6. The show popularized "sock it to me" catchphrases. This phrase became a national sensation almost overnight. Judy Carn, known as the "sock it to me" girl, often delivered the line while being dunked or splashed. Audiences began repeating it in everyday conversations. Merchandising quickly followed to capitalize on the craze.
She sure did.
At least it wasn't wet.
Number 7. Goldie Hawn's giggle was partly strategic. Producers encouraged her bubbly persona to contrast with the show's cynicism. She leaned into the image even when she felt underestimated. Critics initially dismissed her as style over substance. She later proved her acting depth in films such as Private Benjamin and First Wives Club.
I want to wear my sandals and I want to go out to lunch. I want to be normal again.
Number 8. The show faced frequent censorship battles. NBC executives monitored scripts closely for controversial material. Political satire and sexual innuendo pushed network standards. Some sketches were cut minutes before broadcast. The tension became part of the show's rebellious identity.
If you can guess the number of pennies in my hand, you can take me home.
438,726.
Close enough.
Number 9. Flip Wilson gained national exposure on the show. Before his own hit series, Wilson's appearances boosted his profile. His sharp delivery and physical humor stood out. Producers recognized his star potential early. His later success validated the show's talent-spotting reputation.
This is a great pleasure for y'all, that is, because it ain't no big thing with me.
Number 10. After LaughIn ended, many of its stars struggled to shake their on-screen personas. Arte Johnson became so identified with his characters that casting offers dried up, while Ruth Buzzi was often typecast as the quirky, funny old lady. Hosts Dan Rowan and Dick Martin also saw their careers fade, with Rowan battling alcoholism and Martin later admitting the show's stress permanently strained their friendship. Reruns were scarce for years, as the show's once cutting-edge editing quickly felt dated, turning a cultural phenomenon into a time capsule of its era.
And by show 8, we were number 1. And all this time, NBC was going, well, I don't know what you're doing. They had no clue. We had Sammy Davis, I wouldn't let him sing. No, we had our ideas.
Now for a bonus. LaughIn thrived on controversy, becoming one of the first mainstream shows to mock sitting presidents. In 1968, Richard Nixon made a surprise cameo, awkwardly delivering "Sock it to me," which helped soften his image during the campaign. The appearance sparked turmoil behind the scenes, with some writers accusing the show of becoming political propaganda. From then on, critics argued LaughIn had lost some of its rebellious edge, becoming part of the system it once mocked.
Oh no, I don't think we could get Mr. Nixon to stand still for a socket to me.
Sock it to me?